Hello and welcome to Roni Programs. In this episode, we're going to be handling the continue feature of our game. So the acceptance criteria we have are when I select continue from the main menu, I see my character in the overworld. Once in the overworld, I can hit the start button to see my character's name in the overworld menu. So basically, this feature is just testing that the data we're saving is persisting across page reloads, and that we can continue using that same data. So in the last story, we kind of implemented a rough save feature. So let's go ahead and add this continue feature to our game. So first things first, when I select the continue menu, so we have this test already saving the game creates save data. We can go ahead and extend this something like saving the game creates save data and allows user to continue game, something like that. So let's see. So we're at the main menu here. Continue is in the document, and now we can hit the A button to continue the game. And what should we see now? Well, we should be in the overworld at this point. So maybe we can just copy this assertion that says, okay, I'm in the overworld. And that's the first part. So let's just start there. So continue, basically continue brings me to the overworld. Right now, that test is going to fail. And I'm just thinking about this. So nothing happens when I hit the continue button. So this makes sense. So in the main menu, what's going to happen when I select this item? I'm going to call on continue. We can define on continue here. And the game, I believe, is rendering the main menu. That's right. And what's going to happen on continue? Well, on continue, we're going to call handle transition to overworld. Boom. So let's see what that looks like in the app. We're going to just reload. When I hit continue, okay, I see the overworld. But if I hit start, you'll notice there's this weird glitchiness because I'm rendering an item without a key. That's because the player's name isn't here yet. So there's some weird behavior when I scroll here. So let's go ahead and we can stage our changes, and let's work on this next part. Once in the overworld, I can hit start to see my character's name in the overworld menu. It should match my save data. Okay, so pretty simple. We're just going to hit the start button. And then what do we expect? We expect there to be... do we have anything like that in here? Well, we have something like this. We basically are just looking for an option with the player's name. And what name did we choose? Where's this create game? We chose the name Ash. Okay, cool. So we're checking that Ash is there when I hit the start menu. Let's go ahead and save that. Good, we got a failing test. We can see this empty item. Now let's implement it. So let's think about this. In the save game, we're calling this, when the game is saved, we're calling this commit save data. So I think there's two things here, right? We have sort of a way of keeping the local save data for the game while the game is running. And then we actually have writing that save data to local storage. And that's what this commit save data function does. I think what we need is another function, something like set, say, maybe set, maybe update. I like set. Let's do... Actually, I changed my mind. I like update because we might only be passing a partial save state. Or we could even do like some kind of like reducer type magic or something like that. So let's call update save data. And that's going to be returned by our use save data hook. let's think about how we might use that. So like within the context of this component. So right now the player name is a state. And what we might want to do is something like have access to the save data. So something like we have save data, has save data, commit save data, and update save data. Save data will probably just be of the type save data, which we defined, I think, last time, which has nothing on it right now. Update save data is going to set that for us, and then commit save data is going to actually write it to local storage. Okay, cool. So let's think about this for a minute. What shall we do first? Maybe the first thing we could do is put the player's name in this save data object. So let's create within save data maybe a field player. We can call it player data, or even just call it player. And what does a player have? Well, we know that a player has a name, so we can just start there for now. The reason I want to do it like this instead of saying something like player name string is because a player might have something like cash, they might have a party, so a player might have a few things. So that's what the save data is going to look like for now. And in the use save data hook, we can return the save data. So we actually have we have that state already, so we can just return that as part of the save data. Cool. So we're not using it anywhere yet, but perhaps here. Perhaps here we can pass, here we can pass the player's name. And this is, so string or undefined, I guess we could pass a default value of an empty string. And then when the player's name is selected, we want to call, update save data. And in fact, before we make this these changes right here, because this, if we make these changes and it doesn't work, our tests are going to fail, and we want to know that our tests are failing for the right reasons. So let's first do this update save data function. I think just to make it the easiest for now, like, I don't know if we want to deal with like updating partial save data just yet. I am going to call this set save data rather than update, because we don't want to deal with like dealing with partial data right now, I don't think. So cool, we have a set save data and a save data. Great. So now I want to do one thing real quick, which is create. So let's actually stage what we have, because only the test we expect to fail is failing. I want to create a method here, handle player name select. This I think is just going to give us, it's just going to separate, like, what I want to avoid doing is doing logic with like updating the set save data, especially if we have to like do some kind of transformation on this object or whatever. It's not as simple as just setting a string state, so I want to pull this into this method. And so here we're calling handle player name select, and we're setting the player name, set player name. And yep, still just the one test we want to fail is failing. We don't want it to fail, but we expect it to fail. So now we can go ahead and make this swap. We can pass the player name, and then on when we handle the player name select, we can set save data to be player name, something like that. Cool, just the one test is failing still. We don't need this method anymore. And where else are we using player name, by the way? Are we using it anywhere else? Aha, here. So let's go ahead and replace this as well. Player.name. We should still just have the one failing test. Oh, interesting. What have we done wrong? Cannot read property name of undefined. Game 63. We are passing a player. Yeah, a player has I'm wrong. Yeah, technically, so this is where save data is going to get a little bit tricky. Technically, every field we create is going to have to be optional because it's possible that the data that we're about to define doesn't exist yet, and if we're trying to access it like it exists, we're going to run into these types of errors. So we need to handle cases where this data just doesn't exist. So in general, our save data, we're going to default to have to be optional, so it could be undefined. So we need to actually go ahead and update these right here. It's an important catch, and now just the one test is failing. We no longer need this state, which is cool. We're using that in the use save data hook. That's where our state's coming from. And now just back to our test to reorient ourselves. We want to see a menu item with our name. And the reason we're not seeing it, if we go back to our game method here, so the reason we're not seeing it is because we're not passing wait, let me think about this for a minute. We're setting the save data. I feel like I thought that there was one more step we had to do, and I think there is, but I'm now blanking on what that step would be. So the game, at this point, the game has save data because it's rendering the continue button. Can we maybe debug and see what's happening? Oh, so what does this commit save data do? Commit. Ah, that's why. So commit save data isn't actually saving anything. So let's go ahead and we want to make sure that there's actually data to save. So if there's save data, we want to stringify it and save it to local storage. Awesome. So yeah, that was the step we were missing. We were forgetting to actually pass the save data when setting it in local storage. So that's the feature. Let's see how it works in the app. So I'm going to start a new game, and I'm going to pick the name Jack. Let's pick the rival's name doesn't matter because we don't see it. Now I'm going to come here and hit save. I'm going to refresh the app. I'm going to hit the continue button. I'm going to hit start, and boom, there's my name right there. That is the first piece of save data we have. But this is great because now we can actually save a game and pick up where we left off. So that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next episode.